Well, I have to say that the new horror film, Backrooms, there's some good things going on with this one. I didn't expect it to be as good as I thought it was going to be, but it certainly is entertaining, even if it does have a few issues within the story. I went into this with low expectations because honestly, I didn't think it would be that noteworthy. But my goodness, this is a horror film that definitely is entertaining, but also creepy at the same time. So the story of this one is about a furniture store owner named Clark and his therapist Mary end up discovering a dimension that seems to go on for endless liminal spaces. And during the events of the film, some strange things goes on as well. Yeah, this film, it was enjoyable from start to finish. I really like what they did with the concept of the Backrooms. And considering that this was based on a web series I knew nothing about, I had total zero knowledge about what was going on until I got into the story. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. But particularly the two main characters I was invested in. And overall, I thought this was a good attempt at a horror film that I wasn't really familiar with. But I will say that this has several intriguing factors to keep it from being a bore fest, in my opinion. Kane Parsons did such a great job directing this. What's impressive is that not only is he 20 years old, but he's also a YouTuber, and I thought that was very inspiring. Seeing that these YouTubers are going on directing these horror movies or just films in general, it definitely has a lot of good things going with that. True to tell AGO4, I did like his character Clark, and while this guy may look particularly interesting, there is kind of something with his character that I'm not going to spoil, but when they do get to that plot twist, I was just like surprised, I was shocked. And then the actress that also had played Mary, she did a great job. Her character, yeah, definitely was interesting. And this ain't really a spoiler per se, but there is a creature in the movie, and that's all I'll say about that. But I certainly did like the cinematography. I thought it was really well done. The POV shots, they were impressive. I'm not even a fan of found footage horror films, but I think it was particularly good because it wasn't really any shaky cam with those shots. And not only that, I had like the music, I like the story overall. This is not one of the best horror films of the year, but I think it's entertaining enough that a lot of people out there are going to go out and see this. At the end of the day, while this may not be perfect, there is more than enough here to satisfy not only horror fans, but also just the general audience because it does do a lot within the story, to say the least. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. Man, so impressive for Kane Parsons to direct this. Not bad for his tutorial debut. Now, I would be interested in seeing a sequel because it does set up possibility of one. Not to give anything away, but there's a particular moment in this movie where I was like, you know, they could really use that for lore building if they decide to make another film. Granted, with this being an hour and 45 minutes, I had appreciated that runtime because it never felt like it was overstaying its welcome. Nonetheless, if you're really curious, go out and check this out. It really is worth the price of admission. Still, despite how good this is, I personally believe that it could have been a little bit better in my opinion. And that's my review of Backrooms. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.